You have been set apart not by chance, but by divine intention. To be chosen is not a title of comfort. It is a calling to stand in a world that is losing its way. In the days ahead, you will face a landscape saturated with poison of the mind, of the spirit, of the heart. This poison will not always come in obvious forms. It will be wrapped in words that sound right, pleasures that feel good, and systems that seem harmless. But underneath, it will corrode your convictions, weaken your resolve, and dull your discernment. Many will drink it without hesitation, unaware that it is preparing them for defeat. The only way to survive is to cling to what is pure and unchanging. You must hold fast to truth, even when the world calls it outdated. You must guard your heart from bitterness, your mind from lies, and your soul from compromise. Every distraction, every lure, every glittering promise that pulls you away from your purpose is part of the poison. The chosen cannot afford to entertain it. The chosen must recognize that in a season where everything shakes, only the eternal will stand. There will be moments when isolation will feel heavy, when standing apart will feel lonely. But remember, light is never meant to blend into darkness. You were not called to blend, but to stand out, to be the contrast that exposes the counterfeit. The days ahead will test your endurance. People you trust may turn away. Voices you once followed may lead astray, and comforts you once enjoyed may become traps. This is why you must know what to keep and what to let go. Keep the word close, for it is the anchor in every storm. Keep prayer alive, for it will sharpen your hearing to the voice of God when other voices grow louder. Keep humility, for pride is one of the deadliest poisons. Keep love, for hatred will be the weapon that divides and destroys many. These are not optional in the days to come. They are your lifeline. Without them, you will drift. With them, you will overcome. The poison of this age will promise ease, but lead to emptiness. It will promise freedom, but lead to bondage. It will promise life, but lead to death. But if you reject it and remain steadfast in what is true, you will stand when others fall. You will shine when others fade. You will endure when the world collapses around you. This is not because you are stronger, but because you are anchored to the one who never changes. The days ahead are not for the faint-hearted. They are for the faithful, for the watchful, for the chosen who refuse to drink from the cup of deception. If you keep what is pure and reject what is poisoned, you will not only survive, you will fulfill the very reason you were chosen. The time is now. The choice is yours. The cost is real, but so is the reward. You were chosen before you even knew your own name, marked for a purpose that cannot be replaced or transferred. But in the days ahead, the world will not celebrate that calling. It will try to bury it. It will pour out streams of poison, subtle and sweet, designed to dull your senses, blur your vision, and weaken your will. This poison will not always look evil. It will often be dressed in beauty, wrapped in logic, and coated with promises of peace and freedom. But at its core, it is meant to separate you from the source of life. Those who are not awake will drink it gladly, unaware that it is the preparation for their fall. The chosen cannot afford to drink what the world offers. In these days, the stakes are higher than they have ever been. The poison is everywhere, woven into entertainment, spoken through trusted voices, carried in the systems of culture, and whispered into the desires of your own heart. It is not enough to simply avoid what is openly wicked. You must discern the counterfeits that are almost true. The chosen must learn to measure everything against the unshakable standard, because in a world of shifting morals and changing truths, there is only one truth that will remain when the dust settles. There will be times when your refusal to partake will make you seem strange, extreme, or even dangerous in the eyes of others. You may lose friendships, opportunities, or comfort, but the cost of purity will always be less than the cost of compromise. The poison does not kill instantly. It works slowly, softening conviction, excusing sin, and replacing fire with apathy. That is why vigilance is your survival. Keep your foundation anchored in the eternal, truth that cannot be altered, prayer that cannot be silenced, faith that cannot be bought, and love that cannot be quenched. Keep your mind guarded from lies, your spirit tuned to the voice of God, and your eyes fixed beyond what you can see. These are not just disciplines. They are the weapons that will keep you alive when deception spreads like a plague. The days ahead will be filled with voices competing for your attention, offering easier paths, broader roads, and more comfortable faiths. But remember, the narrow road has always been the path of the chosen. It may be steep, it may be lonely, but it is the only road that leads to life. Everything else, no matter how appealing, will prove to be poison in the end. You have been chosen for this moment in history. The darkness will rise, the shaking will intensify, and the pressure to conform will grow heavier. But if you hold to what is pure, if you refuse the poison, no matter how it is served, you will endure. And not only endure, you will shine in the darkness and finish the race you were called to run. The choice is before you. Stand apart. Stay awake. Live as the chosen. You are not here by accident. You were set apart for a time when the world would grow darker, when truth would be trampled underfoot, and when deception would become the air people breathe. In the days ahead, the danger will not only come from open hostility toward faith, but from subtle compromises disguised as wisdom, kindness, or progress. Everything that draws you away from the eternal, no matter how harmless it appears, will be poison to your soul. The chosen cannot afford to sip from the cup the world offers, for even a small taste will weaken what must remain unshaken. This poison is not just in the obvious places, it hides in comfort, in the endless distractions that consume your time, in the pursuit of applause, and in the desire to fit in with those who walk far from the truth. It works quietly, replacing devotion with duty, passion with politeness, and faith with formality. Many will not even realize they have been drinking it until they can no longer stand when the shaking comes. That is why discernment is not optional. It is survival. You must learn to test every word, every opportunity, and every invitation against the unchangeable standard that was given to guide your steps. In these days, purity will cost you. You may be labeled intolerant, stubborn, or unwise. You may find yourself walking away from what everyone else is celebrating. You may have to say a no when it feels easier to say a yes. But compromise is not a harmless middle ground. The chosen are not called to live on what is easy, but on what is true. You must keep your spirit fed with what is eternal, truth that cannot be rewritten, prayer that keeps you in constant communion with the one who called you, and faith that refuses to bow to fear. Guard your heart as a soldier guards a fortress, because the enemy does not always come with open threats. Often he comes with a smile, a gift, or a gentle voice saying, "It's not that serious." But every seed of poison planted is meant to grow into chains. The road before you will not get smoothed. It will narrow. The pressure to conform will grow stronger. The temptation to relax your guard will whisper that resistance is unnecessary. But those who endure will not be the ones who try to blend in. They will be the ones who refuse to drink the poison, no matter how sweet it seemed. You are here to stand when others fall, to hold light when others surrender to the dark. Keep yourself pure, keep your eyes fixed, keep your heart strong. For in the days ahead, only those who cling to what is life will survive what is coming. Everything else will fade away. Everything else is poison. You are not placed in this time by chance. Every heartbeat, every step, every trial you have faced has been preparing you for the days that are now unfolding. These are not ordinary days. They are days of great shaking, days when the very foundations of what people trust will crumble. In the midst of it, a great deception will sweep across the earth, so subtle that even the strong will be tempted to believe it. In such a time, you must know that everything not rooted in truth will be poison to your soul. The poison will not always look like evil. Often it will wear the mask of beauty, wisdom, or comfort. It will promise peace, unity, and security, but it will ask for the surrender of your convictions in return. It will tell you that compromise is the way forward, that old truths are outdated, and that love means accepting what God has never approved. Many will drink from this cup, thinking it harmless, until their hearts grow numb to the voice of the Spirit, and their eyes grow dim to the light. To survive what is coming, you cannot simply avoid what is obviously wrong. You must also reject what is subtly deadly. The chosen ones are not called to walk in half light. You are called to walk in the full blaze of truth, even when it blinds those around you. You must anchor your life in the eternal words that never change, no matter how loudly the world tries to rewrite them. The battle will not be just in the open. It will be in your mind, in your decisions, and in the quiet corners of your heart. What you feed on will determine your strength. If you fill your life with endless noise, entertainment, and distraction, you will not be able to endure the weight of the storm. But if you fill your heart with prayer, your mind with the word, and your spirit with the presence of the Almighty, you will be like a tree planted by living waters, untouched by drought, unmoved by wind. The days ahead will test loyalty. You will have to choose whether to stand with truth or bow to the pressure of the crowd, and sometimes the crowd will not be strangers. It will be people you love, leaders you once trusted, voices you once followed, yet your calling is not to please them. Your calling is to obey the one who chose you. Everything else will fade. Everything else will betray you in the end. Only what is eternal will stand. So guard your heart, sharpen your discernment, and refuse the poison, no matter how sweet it tastes. For in the days to come, survival will not belong to the clever or the strong, but to the pure, those who held fast to the truth when the world offered them everything else. The days ahead will strip away the illusions people have built their lives upon. Comfort will be shaken, security will be tested, and what once felt certain will vanish like mist in the morning sun. In such a time, there will be voices, loud, persuasive, and relentless, offering answers that seem simple, solutions that seem safe. But beneath their polished words will be the slow, steady poison of compromise. It will not come with a warning label, not announce itself as evil. It will sound reasonable, even righteous, yet it will lead the heart far from the truth. You must understand, being chosen does not mean you are immune to deception. It means you are targeted by it. The enemy knows he cannot destroy you outright, so he will try to feed you lies dressed as truth. He will tempt you with half light, knowing it will eventually lead you into darkness. This is why you must decide now, before the storm breaks, what you will believe and whom you will serve. In the days to come, you will be surrounded by spiritual counterfeits. They will speak the language of faith, but deny its power. They will claim to follow light, but twist the path so it leads away from the source. You cannot survive this by casually holding your beliefs. You must cling to them as a man clings to a lifeline in raging waters. What you allow into your heart will determine your destiny. Sadilain. If you feed on the wisdom of men over the wisdom of God, your roots will wither. If you let the crowd set your convictions, you will find yourself swept away when the tide turns. But if you ground yourself in the unchanging word, the storm will only reveal the strength of your foundation. The chosen are not sustained by trends, headlines, or the approval of others. They are sustained by the quiet, steady presence of the Almighty. They know His voice because they have walked with Him in the stillness, in the hidden place where the world cannot intrude. This intimacy will be your shield, your guide, and your lifeline in the days ahead. Everything else, every distraction, every false hope, every compromise will be poison. It may feel good for a moment. It may win you applause, but it will drain the life from your soul. You are not made to live on the fading words of men, but on the living word of God. When the shaking comes, and it will, hold fast to the truth that has carried the faithful through every age. Refuse the cup the world offers, no matter how sweet it smells. So choose the bread of life, even if it costs you everything. For in the end, everything else will perish, but those who are rooted in truth will stand unshaken. The days ahead will demand a clarity and resolve the world has not seen in generations. Darkness will not only grow bolder, it will grow smarter, cloaking itself in the garments of light. You will hear voices urging you to blend in, to adapt, to meet the world halfway. But the truth is, halfway to deception is still deception. The chosen ones will face a choice: drink deeply from the well of life or sip from the poison chalice the age will offer. The difference will be subtle to the undiscerning, yet deadly to the soul. Every age has its snares, but the days to come will weave them so tightly into daily life that compromise will seem harmless. It will be in the entertainment you watch, the conversations you join, the values you quietly absorb. The most dangerous poison is the one that tastes familiar. It will not strike you with immediate collapse. It will erode your convictions drop by drop until you can no longer tell where truth ends and lies begin. The chosen must therefore live with intentional hunger for what is pure, unshakable, and eternal. You cannot survive on fragments of truth. You cannot be kept alive by the occasional glance toward heaven. Your sustenance must be daily, your grounding unbroken, your communion with God more vital than the air you breathe. The world will call it unnecessary. It will tell you to loosen your grip. But those who loosen their grip in the storm are the first to be swept away. In the coming trial, there will be many who start strong but falter. not because they openly rejected truth, but because they allowed it to become one voice among many, instead of the only voice that defines them. This is why your discernment must be sharpened now. You must recognize the counterfeit before it reaches your lips. The ones who endure will be those who have trained their hearts to reject every false sweetness, no matter how much it promises peace or safety. They will know that what the world offers in abundance cannot sustain the soul. They will understand that the approval of men is a brittle crown that shatters in the wind. Your calling is not to blend with the age, but to outlast it. Your life is not meant to be nourished by the shifting tides of culture, but by the eternal current of God's truth. Everything else, every voice, every promise, every glittering distraction will, in the end, be poison. To live, you must choose what will not fade, what will not fail, what will carry beyond the shaking, for only that will keep you alive when all else falls. In the days ahead, survival will not be about strength of body, but strength of spirit. The world will flood you with countless options, each glittering as if it holds the answer to your needs. Yet most will be dressed in poison. The chosen one will not be fooled by the shimmer, for you will have learned that the enemy rarely offers poison in a bitter cup. It comes wrapped in comfort, in convenience, and in the approval of those around you. What makes it deadly is not its appearance, but the slow corruption it works inside your soul. You will walk among people who believe they are alive but are slowly dying. Their thoughts will be shaped by voices they never question, their values formed by trends that shift with every wind. They will call it freedom, but it will be bondage. They will call it progress, but it will be decay. If you are chosen, you cannot afford to breathe in the same air without filtering it through truth. Without this guard, even the purest intentions will drift into compromise. Everything in you must be anchored to what does not change. You cannot keep truth as a side piece to your life. It must be the foundation under your every step. In the days ahead, the chosen will live in such a way that truth is not visited on Sundays. It is the oxygen they inhale, the compass for every decision, the shield for every temptation. The danger will not be in the obvious evils. It will be in the small allowances. The little lies you tolerate. The conversations you excuse, the influences you stop resisting. The poison will not kill you in a single sip. It will work drop by drop until the heart no longer burns for what is holy. This is why you must feed daily on what is pure, because starvation of the spirit makes poison look like nourishment. Many will believe they can dance between two fires, but both will burn them. The chosen will know there is no middle ground. There is truth, and there is everything else. The days ahead will strip away the luxury of neutrality. You will be forced to decide which kingdom you belong to, and your life will bear the mark of that choice. The ones who live through the shaking will be those who refuse to drink from any cup the world offers, no matter how beautiful. They will stand firm not because it was easy, but because they decided long before the storm came that their portion, their treasure, and their very life would be found only in what cannot be corrupted. Everything else is poison. Everything else will pass away. Only the eternal will keep you alive.